According to the National Crime Records Bureau report, farmer suicides in India refers to the national catastrophe of farmers committing suicide since the 1970s due to their inability to repay loans, mostly taken from private landlords and banks. NCRB data shows that the incidence of farmer suicides has remained high in the 6 years between 2014 and 2020. 5,600 farmers committed suicide in 2014 and 5,500 farmers committed suicide in 2020. If agri-laborers are added to the 2020 number, the number of suicides rises to over 10,600. Activists and scholars have offered a number of conflicting reasons for farmer suicides, such as anti-farmer laws, high debt burdens, poor government policies, corruption in subsidies, crop failure, mental health, personal issues, and family problems. The Farmer's Wife is based on the incidence of farmer suicides. The poem The Farmer's Wife is written by P. Lalita Kumari, a well-known Telugu writer. Volga is her pen name. She is known for her feminist positions. She was born in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, in India. She won the prestigious Sahitya Akademi Award in 2015 for her short story compilation. Her works have initiated debates across the country with their themes of feminism. This poem is a translation by Vasant Kannabiran, who is also a feminist poet and writer. She is a founder member of Asmita Collective, which works on issues of women's rights. The Farmer's Wife is not just about farmer suicides, rather a feminist response to the act of suicide and its consequences. The speaker is not only addressing her dead husband, but the society at large. She condemns the cowardly attitude of the farmer men who fail to face the realities, instead resort to committing suicides. Besides, the poet questions the age-old male hegemony. Let us read the poem and understand. You are virtuous, and you are gone, poor sinner that I remain before your creditors. The speaker is addressing her dead farmer husband. She is sarcastic in a tone, referring to the dead farmer as virtuous, whereas she remains a sinner in the eyes of an orthodox society. The man has escaped from the creditors and society. Unable to bend your head, or stretch out your hand, or sell your crops, you crossed over. Every time there was a crop failure, he had to bend his head with his hand stretched before his creditors, or he could sell his crops if he had any. But now he has crossed over all of these options. But I was born with a head bent, a hand outstretched, not unused to being sold. Knowing all this, did you leave me? The speaker presents a contrasting picture where the farmer had to bend his head out of shame before creditors, but she was born as a girl child with a head bent and a hand outstretched because the male centric society wouldn't welcome the birth of a girl child. Besides, she is also used to being sold in marriage. She asks her husband how he could do that, knowing very well that in his absence the dependent family would be put to suffer unbearable consequences. You found release with poison, poisoning my bitter existence. The cotton crop is but yesterday's, but our family. She asks her husband how he could end his life, knowing very well that in his absence the dependent family would be put to suffer unbearable consequences. She says that the cotton crop is just yesterday's, but their family has to live longer. How often have I drowned in it? How many times have I escaped death? Whether you abused or reviled me, kicked me, when you were drunk, I thought, he is but a man. Little did I dream you would deal me a death blow like this. She says further that she also had testing times, but she would never think of an extreme step. Though he had abused her, reviled her several times, she thought it was all right for a man to do that. But she had never imagined about his suicide. True, the crop was gone, the debt remained. Our dignity hit the dust, our hearts turned to water. But how did you imagine my back would bear the burden of 4 children? Now that he has killed himself, her life is miserable, without any crop, with unsettled debt, and dignity biting the dust. She asks him how she can bear the burden of their 4 children. You saw your crop destroyed. What of the harvest of my womb? Can I leave them to the wind, like worm-eaten cotton pods? In addition to these woes, there are children who cannot be left to the wind uncared for. The harvest of my womb is a reference to her children. She just cannot leave them on their own, fruitless like worm-eaten cotton pods. It takes a moment to die, but open your mouth and ask, what of this? Why is this? The speaker is extremely annoyed with this mindset. She says that it just takes a moment to think extreme, but to face life, it needs a brave heart. The speaker is puzzled why this has happened to her. Needs a firm heart to teach my children to clench a fist not merely for a handful of rice, but in battle I must live, I must embrace life, not death. Embrace life and the struggle for life. She is determined to be brave. After all, she is going to teach her children to fight the odds and the lessons of life. In any case, they shall not outstretch their hands seeking compassion, but they shall win the battles of life. She concludes with a strong message that life is a wonderful gift and it is to be lived. Death is not the solution, but it is just an easy escape for people like her husband. So she is determined to embrace life. The poem holds a mirror to the Indian agrarian society and its chronic struggles to cope with issues like farmers' suicide. Especially the woman's life under these circumstances becomes the subject of this poem. But the speaker's urge to teach her children to live facing all the odds with a determination to accept the hard realities of life leaves us a strong message to take a firm stand about our precious life. Now, take a look at some of the extracts from the business line of the Hindu and from the Times of India. With this, I end my explanation. Thank you for watching. I hope you've liked the video. Do share your comments. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel so that I will be encouraged to make more videos. Till we meet next, do take care. Thank you.